Welcome back, comrades. Sorry I'm late. Gonna get the word out to one more place. Okay. Then here. Here. And that should do it. There. To make sure that thing was gonna crash out on us. Okay. So, today, as you may have noticed, I had to start pretty late. And sorry. I had to start pretty late, and I'm gonna be pretty busy with work today, so today's stream is gonna be a bit shorter. So I figured, why not do these? Why not start these escapades? Includes spoilers about the first game's story. Hang on. Alright. Well, this one seems to have to just do with the first case, which we've already done. Ditto for the second one with the second case. Oh. Oh, no worries, Fire. Thanks for coming. We're just getting started. One second, though. While you're here, there is one thing I gotta take care of. Okay. Yeah, I have a bit of an event going on the cult server, which you'll see a link to in the chat shortly, I'm sure. Ah, yes. So he's trying to get the meat juice off of his coin, huh? Just look at my priceless treasure now! Myself I have scrubbed and scrubbed, but the repellent odor of meat will never be repelled from its resplendent surface again! Oh, does my voice sound like it's echoing? I thought hang on. There. Did that fix it? I hope it fixed it.
But you have it back in your possession, at least. You should be grateful, old man.
How dare you! Excuse me, but I'd just like to get at that Zabuton cushion there, if I could. Rest assured, you miserable military malefactor, this is not over! Incarceration awaits those who would defraud a senior citizen for his priceless treasures.
Watch your tongue, old man! Mark my words, I won't...
Sorry, Sergeant, but could I just get at that Zabuton cushion there as well?
Oh. I won't go to jail, never! Imagine if I did! The very next day, my boy would starve without the chain of command in place to provide for him!
You using the child to protect yourself, myself, I call that absolute cowardice.
Oh, really? And who just employed the old poor defenseless senior citizen tactic, The only way to fight an enemy who's using underhand tactics is with a tit-for-tat strategy!
So, in case you haven't figured it out, in the first case, Soldier Guy here was revealed to have tried to steal the old guy's fancy antique coin thing by hiding it under a steak at a restaurant. So now it's all soaked in meat juices. Sorry to interrupt again, but I just need to get at that western style cushion there on the sofa.
Enough of this insubordination! What do you want, man?
Oh, please don't mind me.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is this the wide-eyed criminal from the trial before?
Wide-eyed, perhaps, but criminal, no. I don't know. I don't know why Ryunosuke needs cushions. I think we're about to find out.
What is this unhealthy fascination you exhibit with the seating arrangements of others, Why were you peering under the cushion of this upholstered seat?
Oh, well, the thing is... Any luck? Did you find it? No, sadly not. I don't think it's here, Kazuma. You really are a liability, Ryunosuke.
Report! At once! Have you lost something? Is that it?
Yes, we were just on our way to a party to celebrate my friend's victory here when... I realized that my university pin badge was missing.
A university pin badge, you say?
Yes, from my collar here, you see?
Affirmative! Uniforms must be kept in prime condition at all times! A missing badge is unacceptable!
I thought if I looked around, it would probably turn up somewhere, like the old tale of the Koban coin and the steak.
A parable of which I am acutely aware.
But I've exhausted my search now, really. The only logical conclusion is that someone must have stolen it. Of course, Kurio would look at Nosa. Yep.
Don't look at me! I don't just find any old metal objects irresistible, you know! Imagine what would happen if little Trooper Ido here swallowed something like that!
Supposedly, this guy has been really strapped for cash, so he's had to resort to stealing things to pawn them off for money to feed his baby son there on his back. Ah, there's the Discord link. Yeah, go join if you haven't. I'm afraid we'll have to give up, Ryunosuke. Still, if you tell the office your student number, they should be able to issue you with a new one. What's the matter? Oh, don't tell me. Yes, I don't remember my student number. I don't believe it. I mean, this is the second time you've lost your badge, isn't it? Third, actually. If you didn't think you could remember it, you should have made a note of it somewhere. I told you that until I was blue in the face the last time this happened. Yes, I do seem to remember someone telling me something along those lines. Ah, cool. Fair enough. But anyone else watching, be sure to join. Catch the event. It was you, was it? You can't even remember who told you that you needed to remember it. Well, student numbers are 6 digits, Kazuma. Who could remember 6 whole digits? Yume isn't exactly a long-established university, you know. All of our numbers are still rather low. In fact, they only use the last 3 digits. Well, that might help, I suppose. That might help. Ryunosuke, it's only 3 digits you needed to remember. Just 3! Sorry my brain is such a disappointment.
Yes, well, anyway, young man, myself, I was greatly impressed with you in the courtroom today.
Oh, you mean me?
A lawyer already before you've even graduated, and such a loyal friend to this one.
Ryunosuke had been framed for murder in the same case where the coin theft came to light. Apparently, our elderly friend here did not catch the verdict of that case. Oh boy. This one? What's that supposed to mean? Oh no, I still have much to learn. In fact, that was brought home to me in no uncertain terms only last year. My Achilles heel was spectacularly exposed by my best friend here.
Indeed?
What? By me? This is the first I've heard about it. Yes, by Ryunosuke Naruhodo. You can't have forgotten, surely. It was last summer, at the speech contest. The speech contest? Oh, that. Contestants had to take to the stage and deliver a public address on any subject they chose. We were competing to give the most compelling and powerful speech. And yours was great, made a huge impression on the audience. Obviously, since I was a budding student of law, I was determined to win. And sure enough, one by one, my opposition fell. When I reached the final at last, I came up against you. Yes, so you did. Not being rude, but when I first laid eyes on you, I thought to myself, this cheeky, wide-eyed no-hoper is out of his depth. He's gonna be a pushover. That's your version of not being rude, is it? Well, I paid for my complacency, because it brought on that humiliating defeat.
Defeat? How were your ranks compromised?
My speech was going very well. I had the audience in the palm of my hand. They hung on my every word. And then, when I came to the very last line...
Yes, what happened at the very last line?
It was supposed to be a climactic end. Unfortunately, I completely fouled it up.
Never!
You mean you stumbled on your words?
Spectacularly. Even now, I can't believe I ruined it.
Well, what on earth did you say, man?
Ryunosuke, you'd better say it. I still can't get my tongue around it. Sure, of course. I can still recall it perfectly. What you said at the end of your speech, or rather, what you intended to say at the end of your speech, was this. So arise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight and the fight for filial piety.
And what went wrong?
What indeed? Myself, I see no problem with the pronunciation of these paltry words.
In that case, old man, I invite you to say it yourself.
Very well, then, I shall. So arise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight and the fight for filial piety. It's impossible!
The arise, ladies and gentlemen part I delivered perfectly. But the next part had me floundering for a whole 5 minutes. Not gonna lie, I was really focusing on not tripping up those words myself. I imagine it's even harder to say in the original Japanese. By the end of it, I was on my knees in front of the podium, a blabbering mess. And that's when the audience started to heckle you. Arise, arise, they were shouting.
Hell on earth.
But then, of course, this man went and delivered his word-perfect speech with a perfect ending. How did it go again? Let me see. So, my dear fellows, the message is simple. Treat your father and mother with respect. Something like that. I mean, talk about stating the obvious. But the fact is, I lost to that speech.
tongue-tied is the only way to describe it.
Well, it is quite tricky to say, I agree. That final fight for filial piety, especially. And ever since that day, I've had this question whirling around in my head. Why did our forefathers choose such an awkward phrase? Was it to mock their children? I mean, it should never have been called filial piety in the first place. Ah! The first place. Ah! At least you're going to Great Britain soon. It might not come up much there. Well, anyway, having lost that accursed contest, I came after you to ask you a question. How is it that you never trip up on your words? I inquired, and you just gave me a broad smile and said, Speaking fast is my hobby. I mean, really? What kind of a hobby is that? Do you think you could take your hand off of your sword? Besides, it's just a way to pass the time. After that, you started talking at me 10 to the dozen, like you were possessed almost. Honestly, you can't imagine the shock I suffered that day. You really can't. You're right. I really can't. Yeah, I know, right? Like the idea of the forefathers specifically wording this sentence that way to troll people some 100 years or however long it's been later. Yep. I can imagine them looking down now. Rolling with laughter in their graves.
Speaking fast is just the sort of hobby I'd expect a civilian like you to waste his time on.
Well, you have to practice, of course, but there are some simple things to start with. Like this famous one, for example. Swift samurai sword swipes silently sideways.
Ah, yes, even a decrepit tongue in an ailing frame such as mine can find its way around that one.
I've no doubt. It's just a bit of fun, really. I can't imagine anybody would struggle to say it. Oh, I thought he was being sarcastic there. He probably wasn't. Isn't that right, Kazuma? Swift samurai sword. A blabbering mess by word 2.
It's not just the samurai. Every good soldier needs to be able to handle a sword. That's why I've been busy teaching Ido the finer points of swordplay. None of this wordplay nonsense, Private!
Come to think of it, not long after that we started to attend lectures together, didn't we? And we got into that debate about family values at the Sukiyaki place on campus, do you remember? Yes, your argument was full of jokes and puns and wordplay as usual. I remember it well. Oh, was it? In any case, I swore that I would never let myself forget the shock you gave me back then. And as a symbol of how seriously I took that oath, I decided to wear this, my red Hachimaki headband. Sorry, Kazuma. Yes? You've lost me there, I'm afraid. I don't see the link. What does your red headband have to do with your oath? Because it will always remind me of that smug look on your face as you uttered those tantalizing words. What words? You mean another tongue twister? I practiced and practiced until my tongue bled, but in the end I mastered it. Mastered what? Well, I think it's time you heard this, actually. Listen carefully now. Here goes. Red headband, lead headband, dead headband. There! Word perfect, see? I'd actually been meaning to ask you about that. About the story behind your headband, I mean. Well, now you know. So that I'll never forget the shock and humiliation of that day. That's why I wear this red headband every single day without fail. Well, I don't know exactly how much of a shock you think you had back then, but it can't be more than the shock you've just given me now. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but the tongue twister I said didn't go the way you seem to have remembered it. Huh? It's just as famous as Swift Samurai Swords, so I can't believe you don't know it, really. It goes, red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man. Wait, what? Bed red pan. It seems I've knocked some wind out of that headband of yours.
It's not too late, Private. You can always start wearing a red bread pan on your head instead.
Your youthful vigor is manifest, young man. Your cheeks are glowing redder than your hachimaki.
Why do so many words have to be so similar?
So, looking forward to Great Britain then, where you'll have to deliver speeches in court in English? I suppose I can always shell sea cells on the seashore. Oh, that's it? It's just a read-through thing? Okay. Well, alright. Let's do this one then, and then the third one looks like it's going to have spoilers for Case 3, so we'll have to get started on Case 3. 6th of January, 6:23 p.m. SS Borea, First Class Cabin, Number 1. It's almost 2 weeks now since we left Japan. I can't believe how quickly time has gone. So, our next port of call will be Shanghai. Who's there? Who could it be at this hour?
A detective.
A detective? Who?
A great detective.
Sorry, I got the character wrong the first time. I don't get it. What's a great detective?
If you would just be so kind as to open the door.
Oh, yes, sorry, of course. You're close, Fire, but no, it's not Batman. Something wrong, Detective? Are you investigating a case?
Wherever a great detective goes, great cases occur. Indeed, I am the root of all evil.
Sorry? Then I don't think I want you in my cabin.
Under our very noses on this steamship, a terrible theft has just occurred.
What?
You noticed, I presume, the brief power failure a short while ago.
Oh yes, the power couldn't have been out for more than 10 minutes, though.
Indeed, yet that was ample time for this wicked crime to be perpetrated.
I see. Well, clearly it's a case that needs investigating.
Precisely. The culprit ran away in this direction, down the first-class cabin passageway here.
Really? The thief came this way?
I'm quite sure of it. It may have escaped the attention of the dim-witted crew, but not of the great detective. To that end, I would be obliged if you will allow me to investigate here in this cabin.
Well...
How curious. Is there some reason why it would be inconvenience to you to have your cabin searched?
Inconvenience me? Well, I'd be lying if I said no. Okay, context. This is Herlock Sholmes. He was a major character in the second case. And what Kazuma is trying to hide is that Ryunosuke is a stowaway hiding in his wardrobe. Because they only had the ticket for Kazuma to go to Britain, but Ryunosuke wanted to come too. And so they agreed they would smuggle him over as well. Yes, Herlock Sholmes. He'll probably give his name here. After all, there's a stowaway in that wardrobe right over there. It's just me in here, you see. No one else. So you might perhaps want to focus your attention on one of the other first-class cabins. As it happens, you are the only first-class passenger at present. The other cabins are vacant. Oh! Uh-oh. Did that rather tragic rumbling of the stomach arise from within you, my good fellow? Of course. As I said, I'm the only person in here. It's not long until dinner time now, so perhaps we can do this afterwards. I do apologize, sir, but it is of the first importance that the investigation is not delayed. Now, if you'll excuse me... Wait, where did he go? How did he suddenly move all the way over there? Yes, without a doubt, if the culprit were to be hiding in this cabin, it would have to be inside this wardrobe. I shall need to examine this wardrobe thoroughly. I presume you have no objection? I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to decline. Really, you won't find any... Achoo! Achoo! Did those two rather tragic sneezes arise from your good self? Of course they did! As I said, I'm the only person in here! You have a curious knack of talking while sneezing, then. Twice, no less.
This is gonna be a tough one to argue.
I was watching you quite intently, sir, and I assure you I saw no signs of a sneeze.
Reno's KFL'd his nose!
As I was saying, I shall need to examine this wardrobe.
We've had it now then. The game's up.
Nobody hiding in there, it seems.
What?
You seem surprised.
No, not at all. Yes, I am. He was in there for sure. I shut the doors on him myself. More visitors. Who's this now?
Excusing me.
Oh, Seaman Stroganoff?
Sorry for disturbing, but crime has been committed on board ship.
Yes, I heard. A terrible theft, apparently.
How do you know this?
Well, the detective here just informed me, you see.
Detective?
Yes, I assumed you must have asked him to investigate. Detective, could you... Well, where did he go?
I must ask you to cooperate with investigation into this crime. Fully.
Uh-oh, he's glaring at the wardrobe already. Well done, you found me! What are you doing hiding in my wardrobe? My good man, I was merely assessing the practicality of concealment in such a place. And I would say that, at a push, a human could survive for up to 5 minutes in that cramped space. Ryunosuke's been in there for a fortnight. Is he not human?
Who are you?
Shh. This is the moment of truth. The great detective is about to unveil the sordid details of this wretched crime. You mean to say... Yes, there can be no doubt that the culprit of this terrible theft did indeed conceal himself within this wardrobe.
What?
But that's impossible! He couldn't have done. Because my best friend was in there the entire time. Or at least, I thought he was.
How can you be sure of this?
Elementary, my dear fellow. The criminal left behind the most revealing evidence. How else could you explain these 3 bones?
Ah!
What the? He's right. Look at those gnawed bones in there. And 3 of them.
Ah! The criminal has escaped this time, but I will find him and crush him!
Could I ask you something, Detective? Why, yes, of course. I am always delighted to answer an inquiring mind. In this terrible theft, what exactly was stolen? Aha! What else but some steaks on the rib bone? Huh? Did you say steaks on the rib bone?
For this evening's dinner, 3 rib steaks were stolen from ship's kitchen only a short time ago. There was malfunction with generator and ship was without lights for 10 minutes. Chef who saw criminals said that he ran away down first-class passageway.
Hey, Aram.
And now I am on his tail!
I'm afraid to say, dear fellow, that your man is no longer in this cabin. Got some more names to record. There.
But how?
Through the cabin door, no less. Having devoured his hole in this wardrobe, the culprit discarded the bones and concealed himself behind the cabin door as you came inside. Then, when attention was turned to the wardrobe, he seized his chance to escape through the open door.
What?
Make haste, my good man! After the culprit! I shall follow presently. Something troubles you, sir.
I think maybe criminal is not running away at all.
What are you suggesting?
Now I know where the dog is buried. Mr. Asogi.
Me?
Ah! When I think that you are culprit, everything is falling in places. The criminal that disappeared in first-class passageway, the bones in the wardrobe. All clues are pointing their fingers at you!
Don't be ridiculous, I would never... Yes, of course. I established at once that you couldn't be the perpetrator of this crime. You did?
Why? How are you so sure?
My dear fellow, it's because his stomach was rumbling earlier. There are but 2 things in this world on which one can rely with total certainty.
What 2 things?
The first is the word of a great detective, and the second... Right on cue. The second is the tragic rumbling of an empty belly. Ah! Not again. When I first entered this cabin, there did arise from this gentleman a belly rumbling so odiously tragic that it confirmed beyond all doubt that the man had not eaten a single rib steak in some time, let alone 3. Why do I have to suffer this humiliation when I've done nothing wrong?
Curses! I will catch this thief! He cannot have gone far!
Was it Sholmes? It might have been Sholmes. Indeed, assuming he decided against a post-meal constitutional swim. Well, if you will excuse me now, my apologies for upsetting your evening. Detective, one moment, please. Yes, that was a most remarkable deduction. Perhaps you'd be kind enough to tell me your name? Ah, it quite slipped my mind. You have been talking with the one and only... Herlock Sholmes! I see. Well, I'm Kazuma Asogi. I'm a student on my way to Great Britain. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Mr. Asogi. Oh, and before I forget... Yes? I feel I should warn you. Live cargo is strictly forbidden on this vessel. So you would do well to conceal the stowaway currently lying low under your bed as carefully as possible. Oh, under the bed? Well done, Sholmes. Well done. And hello, Majora boy. I bid you farewell then, Mr. Asogi. He's uncovered our secret. I suppose I should have expected nothing less of a great detective. Now then. When did you move in under the bed? Thought we'd had it when he opened the wardrobe door. Well, it was thanks to that split-second chance you engineered. That I what? You distracted him for a moment, remember? When you suggested that he investigated the other cabins instead. Oh yes, he turned to look towards the corridor, didn't he? Well, I couldn't see what he was doing, of course. But I thought to myself, it's now or never! And the next thing I knew, I was under the bed. You really know how to give me a scare, don't you? Anyway, what's all this about the rib steaks, eh? Sorry about that. I've just been so hungry! Ever since we left Japan, stuck in that tiny wardrobe. Well, you should know, you've been splitting all your meals with me. You must be starving too, surely. Right on cue. There was that power cut before, wasn't there? For about 10 minutes? So it was then. I caught a whiff of the most delicious smell. I thought to myself, it's now or never! The next thing I knew, I had the steak in my hands. This man just can't help getting himself into trouble. Well, alright, you were hungry, but 3 steaks? Thanks to you, 3 crewmen are gonna go without tonight, I imagine. No, it was just the one. What? I only took 1 rib steak from the kitchen. That's all. But I don't understand. Hey, I'm not that selfish. If I'd stolen 3 steaks, I'd at least have tossed 1 your way. I'm not your pet dog. Well, in that case, who stole the other 2? Was it Sholmes? Ah! Do you think... could there be a ghost on board? A meat-loving ghost? There can only have been a single bone in the wardrobe when Ryunosuke moved to hide under the bed. It was totally Sholmes! Which means that the other 2 bones can only have been put there by one very flesh and blood person. What's so funny? We're on a haunted ghost ship! A great detective, or a great mischief maker. Either way, I think I'd like to spend a little more time getting to know that man. The great Hairlock Sholmes. Oh man, that's actually really sad. Really, really sad. Fire, I don't know if you were here for this. Arm, I think you were. Majora, I'm not sure if you were or not. This was a side thing to the second case. Second case, Kazuma's dead. And you have to fight, and you have to figure out who killed him. So, that's kind of a downer. Huh? Oh, yeah, gotta do this. Yeah, last time we just finished The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Yeah, there was a bit of a red herring in this one. Feel free to go back through the VODs if you want to see this case. But here we are. We'll start this one now, because there isn't really anything else I can do without spoiling this one or a later one. Episode 3, The Adventure of the Runaway Room. Wait, what? I'm confused now. Load game. Oh! Here we go. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. Excuse me.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner. My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, "I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude. The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together."
Yeah. Wait, I thought it was Wilson writing these.
Amazing.
Wilson's dead.
Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives. This country is incredible.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure. I suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome to the centre of the world, Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
Yep, tea people. Welcome to the land of tea people. Wait, is this Supreme Court inside Big Ben or something? Wow. 18th February, 9:21 a.m. British Supreme Court. Lord Chief Justice's office. What an incredible place! It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they've only been built in the few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time, if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead, we are here in a different capacity, as envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So, we'd have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer. which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch.
Ah, good morning. Sorry for keeping you.
Oh,
I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies.
oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do.
How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire.
And I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse! Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire.
Yes, thank you. Sure, we can converse. London? Sure.
So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London?
Oh, help! I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city! It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh,
We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say, I'm almost lost for words.
I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water, and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded.
Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Susato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor.
Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London.
Great exhibition?
Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and we will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop!
Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's gonna be.
Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent! London is the center of the modern world!
Even if you do say so yourself.
The sun will never set on our great empire! Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, if this follows the pattern of every single Ace Attorney case involving some kind of murder, this guy did it. Just saying. That's gonna be my moonshot bet. Because I really don't like this guy's vibes. He's hammy, and I like that, but he's very... The whole manifest destiny thing isn't vibing with me. Lord Chief Justice, I think you were expecting a student of law for this study tour, weren't you?
Absolutely. A Mr. Kazuma Asogi, if my memory serves.
That's right.
The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores.
That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived.
My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours.
Oh, thank you.
And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of the news?
Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person.
They tell me you Japanese are a people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that it's true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you. The death of the young lawyer means this study tour arrangement can no longer proceed.
If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart.
What do you have to say, madam?
It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal.
Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo,
This is it then. The moment of truth.
I'm gonna do one thing here. Armband I inherited from Cosmo. It identifies the wearer as a defense lawyer throughout the Empire of Japan.
Oh, so I can examine this in 3D. Let's see if we can find anything on it. These are the scales of justice. They're a symbol of the defense, aren't they? Yes, that's right. The scales are a symbol of fairness, to show that all are treated equally in the eyes of the law. And they're a warning to those who enter the courtroom without an impartial mind. But if they're the mark of the defense, it'd be more auspicious if they were weighing more heavily on the not guilty side, I think. Very impartial, I'm sure. Huh? It says Kazuma Asogi. The lawyer's name is embroidered on the inside here. Look, Kazuma Asogi. This was his band, of course. He had his heart set on this study tour in Great Britain. I'm sure he would have found the truth he longed for here, but he lost his life before he even had the chance to see the place. I have such a strong sense of his hopes and dreams when I look at this armband, though. Okay, yeah, maybe I am being a little harsh on Strongheart there. I'm still, I'll hedge my bet a little bit. I am absolutely certain that he is a villain. I just don't know if he is the villain of this case. Well, only one way to find out. This must be the Lord Chief Justice's desk. I believe it's made of marble. It looks more like an over-the-top tombstone that's toppled over to me. I think that's your fanciful imagination at work again, Mr. Naruhodo. Feels like everything that's normally made of wood and paper at home is made of bricks and stone here. I know. That's why this place feels so overbearing, I'm sure. Just look at all the naughty books packed together on these shelves. They go from floor to ceiling. And they're all books that you couldn't hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream. Yes, a very bad dream. They're not all about British law either. There are books about the judicial systems of other Western nations. France, Germany, Spain, Holland? What about Russia? Why do you ask? I was wondering about asking Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think? I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned. Look at these menacing metal giants facing each other across the room! I believe yes, they're suits of armor. Oh, right. I thought maybe they were like the lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates. No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, suits of armor like these are always possessed by evil spirits, you know. And they roam around in the middle of the night. Wait, what? Really? Is there nothing you don't know, Miss Susato? And yes, Spain, you, Majora. This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask. Where did she get that incredible tome? Is this some kind of clock? Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. One of those suits of armors did it. Hey now, Fire. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We don't even know anyone's dead yet. I mean, again, this is Ace Attorney. Someone's going to be dead. But we don't even know who's dead yet. Evil spirits. Alright.
But those gears are larger than anything you'd find on a steam locomotive, even.
It's eerie. Do you think clocks are some sort of hobby of his? The Lord Chief Justice, I mean.
Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they?
I'm not sure you could fiddle with cogs that size. I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still, it's amazing how little noise the cogs make considering how large they are. There's actually something quite soothing about their precise rhythm. Oh yeah, that's right, I can turn around. Get a full view of the room. Okay, it looks like there's nothing else to investigate. Well, let's proceed. Continue speaking with Lord Chief Justice What's-His-Face. The thing is, Lord Justice, Sir Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead?
Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead. But without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done.
Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean.
Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Asogi. At least, that is what I've been led to understand.
Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo! I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I gonna say? If there is someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer, it's... me. It's me. I can do it!
Is that so?
I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but...
No qualifications, you say, and yet you still claim to be a lawyer.
I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And I had Kazuma to help me, and I was the accused. But glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Buria.
The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training.
I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Asogi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on this study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance. That's all I'm asking for. Please!
31 seconds.
Sorry?
Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo. It was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer.
Oh, thanks.
So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment.
Huh?
But let me ask you one thing first, sir.
Yes?
You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path?
Well, yes, that's my intention.
I see.
Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? Yeah, there's some sort of conspiracy here that Ryunosuke is not in on. Kazuma was, and I think this guy is too. Sounds like malpractice. Wait, sorry, what sounds like malpractice? I'm not sure of the sync level here. Ryunosuke posing as a lawyer?
You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you.
Really? Alright, what's the test? So, what form will the test take exactly?
Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be?
Well, defending people, of course.
Well said. So, let's have you defend someone.
Huh? Yeah, I thought that was where this was going. The whole practicing without qualifications. Yeah. Yeah, usually there's a few seconds of delay, especially on my internet. But what I was going to say was that the first case was essentially a trial by fire of Ryunosuke as a lawyer, and again, he was the accused, and he was defending himself. But the fact that he did so successfully in Japan should be a pro, not a con, don't you think? Should be in Ryunosuke's favor, because that's impossible odds twice over, and he won the case, right? Huh?
Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defense as yet, so this will be welcome news.
Today? Straight away?
If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler?
How do I get myself into these situations? Wait. The fairness of this test only hinges on this guy knowing for sure whether or not the defendant is actually guilty. Is it... Does he know the guy is guilty and he's rigging it against me? He said something about wanting entertainment. What is... There are so many questions here. Well, could I ask, what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart?
Yes, good question. I remember. It's a murder trial.
There it is! A murder? It's always murder cases.
An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose.
That's easy to say.
But I should mention just in case. If the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment.
Capital punishment? He'll be put to death?
Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably you read that much in your short C-based introduction to British law.
We can't possibly agree to such a test! We would be toying with a man's life!
I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable.
But you can't do that, can you?
There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose.
So the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court? If I lose, he'll be hanged.
Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen.
He's testing my resolve.
What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be?
What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Well, yes. Alright then, if I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't do it! I can't get the words out!
15 seconds. Your decision-making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I suspected, is it?
Sorry?
You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over.
Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm sorry, Miss Susato, but what could I do? It's all right. I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. But resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it.
What are you trying to say, madam?
Yeah, that would make sense, Arm, wouldn't it? But why would he... He must really not have any faith in Ryunosuke here at all. If that's the case, I think that's, or maybe, yeah, maybe he was looking to pull in. Maybe he saw this as an opportunity to pull in some random guy who he was sure was gonna lose. But then why would he try to scare Ryunosuke like that? I think what Miss Susato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand at the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice.
Wait, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, was there something else?
It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time.
But I just said that...
I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him.
What?
At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down.
But that's awful!
But that is the truth.
Why does it have to be like this?
Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you.
I'm really his only hope?
So, what do you say now, madam?
Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart?
You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve.
Oh!
Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves!
He's gone. The Old Bailey. If we're gonna do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. Just because I want to get all the options. Miss Susato, can I just ask you something? Careful! From this position, I can perform a Susato takedown in an instant. I know. Mr. Naruhodo, you heard Lord Strongheart. The trial starts imminently. If I need to throw you, I will! You know, you could just say, I think we should hurry to the courtroom. If you need to ask me anything, it had better wait until we're at the Old Bailey.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, thanks for stopping by, Majora. Not sure how much longer I'm going to be live myself, because I think I smelled dinner being prepared here as well. Oh, thank goodness we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Sherlock Holmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all. So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever's about to be sentenced. It feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment.
Top of the morning to you, madam. Sir. What are you doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, aren't they?
Sorry?
Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the east, are yous?
We're from Japan, yes.
Ah, Japan, is it right? Say no more. So, how much do yous need?
No, we're just here because...
No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, and all while in a strange, faraway land.
Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no.
'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving you 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now.
1,000 guineas?
Please, Miss Susato, you don't have to shout.
But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What?
'Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I've enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over.
Could that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money.
Ah! That hit me in the eye! Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it you no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me.
Oh?
To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. Trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now.
Oh, well, the thing is...
Don't worry about the thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me. Nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all.
So it was true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial?
Bluster and blazes, do yous? Do yous not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names.
No. Sorry, we've only just arrived in the city, you see. I am very sorry, Fire, by the way. It's been years and years since I had to do this kind of accent, so I'm just kind of making it up.
I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park there in the centre of London is another beautiful park.
Sorry, a park? What?
It is called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did.
An entire park in central London?
A city of smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and its square old people.
That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary.
But now they've the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal! Me, Magnus McGilded! What is the matter with London police, I ask you?
All right, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo, perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath? Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best.
What was I after saying, you daft idiot? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I?
Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you.
Oh, I think I see what's going on here.
Sorry?
I know what you're thinking. This chancer of a fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it! That's the only explanation!
Well, not at all. Not at all, although it is a little strange, to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean.
That would be the fault of the Reaper.
Sorry? Did he just say Reaper?
Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Barock von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor.
The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper?
When von Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned.
What?
So it's reached the desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey.
And yeah, I was right. Dinner's ready. We're gonna wrap this up and call it here and continue next week. Goodness, Lord Baron Van Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then.
Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam.
I keep thinking that's Baron Barock. I'm reminded of. I wonder if this guy bears any similarity to a certain prosecutor who pulled a 40-year-long con about a murder.
It's cursed.
Cursed? What on earth?
The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way to the courtroom. The trial is about to begin.
His counsel? That would be me.
Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down.
But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened.
Until you showed your face here, I'd made up my mind, so I had.
Sorry?
I decided I'd have to defend myself in there.
How would that have worked?
But then you made an appearance. A student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please.
I literally know nothing about the case, or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo. The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Cosmo would never have allowed to happen.
Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand.
I'll be right there. happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because I have no idea how I'm gonna manage this! And there we go. Yeah, we'll have to continue this next week because I gotta grab dinner and then I got work to do. So, but thanks for tuning in. Don't miss Turtle Soup Tuesday, where we do more of this Kaizo adjacent Mario 74 10 years after. Last week was particularly entertaining. Bowser 2 was rough. And also don't miss Thursday Night Terror, where a certain unspeakable horror plays through some other unspeakable horrors in Inscription. And be sure to follow if you haven't already. Make sure to keep tuning in so we can get to affiliate, comrades. And see you next time.